Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego.
My name is Jay. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
You go.
I'll go. My name is Joey.
My name is James.
And this is the Brothers Padres.
And ladies and gentlemen, this week, even though we messed up the intro, we are going to talk about the San Diego Padres and their wonderful week of baseball.
There was wonderful bits about it.
There certainly was.
Let's jump into it, James.
All right. This week's recap starts Friday, July 22nd. The Padres are in New York, of all places. And we ended up winning, Joey, 4-1. Yu Darvish, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Unbelievable start. Got the win. Martinez pitched an inning of relief. Rogers got the save. Hold on to that feeling. Game 2, the Padres won again 2-1. Blake Snell, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts. Decent start for Snell. He shut the Mets down. They worked him for a couple of walks, but they also had a lot of deep counts, so he left the game. But again, Rogers got the save. Phenomenal. Hold on to that feeling. Game 3, the Padres lose the final game of New York, 8-5. Musgrove gave up 4 runs, not the sharpest he's looked all year, but the 6th, actually, to be honest, he shut them down for 5 innings, and the 6th inning, he gave up a 3-run shot. So the 6th inning, he didn't look sharp. He was sharp up until that point, and the Padres just couldn't, score runs for him. So we lost.
It's a national game, nationally broadcast game, so of course we lost.
Yeah, it was a national broadcast game, which can we take a moment?
Yeah, we can take a moment.
ESPN, in all humble honesty, you're terrible. You're trash. You stink. All of your talent is lacking talent. And did they even acknowledge the Padres were on the team, were on the field?
Great question.
And they didn't even bring up the fact that the Padres had won the previous 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, no. The Padres also have won the series against the Mets. Yes, the Mets have a better team. I hate East Coast bias. ESPN is the worst. ESPN and Fox Sports. Anybody from New York, they're just so far up their, rear ends. I hate it. My goodness.
Tell me.
Do you want to know what Pete Alonso's farts smell like? Go smell the ESPN announcer's breaths.
Wow.
It upsets me greatly, Joey.
Wow. Okay.
Now back to the recap. The Padres fly to Detroit, where the Padres have never won a game. They've only ever played there twice, once in 2003 and once, of course, the World Series. And the first game, the Padres lose 12-4. This was not a pretty game. Manaea gave up 4 earned runs, but I believe he gave up an additional 2 unearned runs. Manaea is a bit of a conundrum because he's a great pitcher, but if all 4 of his pitches aren't working, he can't go around it. Unlike Musgrove and Darvish, who have a bunch of stuff, they can throw out pitches that do work and don't work and work around it. Manaea needs all of his pitches to work in his arsenal to have a good outing, and he didn't have that. And on top of that, Gore came out and got hurt and is on the 15-day disabled list. So, yay, Detroit. Game 2 of Detroit, the Padres did something they've never done in franchise history, which is win a game in Detroit.
So
we
wild.
won 6-4. Mike Clevenger, I think it's safe to say, best start as a Padre. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. He was wheeling and dealing. He was getting ground balls. He had them off. He was phenomenal. And Rogers came in and the 9th inning and gave up the lead and tied the game, and the Padres had to win it in the 10th. So Rogers blew the save. Not good. The final game of the series. A chance for the Padres to win and have a winning record road road trip. We lost 4-3. Yu Darvish was unhittable. Okay, they got 6 hits, but he got 7 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. He was as dominant as you can ask any ace to be dominant. And the Padres had the lead 3-2 going in the 9th. And Taylor Rogers, once again, although he got 2 saves in New York, blew 2 saves in Detroit and lost the game. Needless to say, Padres Twitter took this in stride.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was accepting the fact that maybe Rogers has been overworked a little bit as of late, and nobody overreacted whatsoever.
And everyone was calm and I would say pretty mature about it.
Yeah.
It's something that I was showing my 20-month-old daughter just to showcase how mature people could be. I was like, look at this. One day you'll be as mature as
These adults.
Yeah, that's not what happened, James. No,
not at all.
people freaked out, and it wasn't great.
And it wasn't like it was totally unjustified.
Right.
Rogers, they showed somebody posted a stat. His spin rate is definitely down from the beginning of the year. Yes, he has more saves than any closer in baseball.
Right.
But as of late, he has like a 6 ERA
In July, yeah.
And his spin rate is down. The Padres need to stop. We need to start relying on more people to close games. Maybe a Nick Martinez, maybe a Marahone, maybe a Garcia, or maybe even a Nabil Krismat. All people that have had shutout innings. It is so frustrating to lose to a team that's 20 games away from 500.
Oh, it's pretty frustrating. And I have a good friend who's a Tigers fan, and he knows how bad they are. He had a great time watching these games, and it hurt me a little bit,
And that Candelabra kid,
Candelario.
whatever his name,
I would love it if he was actually named Candelabra. But
whatever his name
dude
is.
is a menace.
He was, first of all, apparently has sucked all year.
Oh, yeah, it's been terrible.
Faced the Padres, he had 4 home runs, and like every time he was at the bat, he drove in a run. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, hated the Padres. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough one. Ended up being 3-3 in the road trip, which is
What I predicted, but I predicted the opposite. We would
Right.
win 2 from Detroit and lose 2 from New York.
I think the story of this past 6 games is what Bob Melvin has said is that we've been winning games playing the perfect baseball.
Yes.
And that may not be exciting, that may not be definitive, but that's how we've been winning baseball games. That's how we won in New York. And that's how we lost. Not doing that made us lose in Detroit.
Yes.
The first game in Detroit was, like I said, Manaea didn't have his stuff, and they just teed off on him, and Gore got hurt.
This is the 3rd start of the year. Manaea hasn't had his stuff, and he's given up 12 runs.
Right. But in the 3rd game that happened today when we're recording this, we played a very thin margin game where we put enough pressure on the opposing defense, so we got some runs. We didn't get big hits. as much as we probably should, but we got enough runs to be leading the ninth. And then Rogers wasn't perfect. And it's not this inning was when he gave up the blew the save it was more unlucky than other times because it's just a weak swinging bunt, got someone on base. He was down 2 strikes, just the guy that walked us off.
Yeah, I know.
So it is a bit unlucky, but you're absolutely right. Sarris was the one who posted that spin rate chart, and his stuff has gotten worse, especially this month. So that's not good. There's a guy that needs to strike people out, and he's not striking people out.
And on top of that, we lost Mackenzie Gore to 15-day disabled list, which I kind of think they might just shut him down for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because he has never pitched this many innings before, and he's clearly has stuff to be a good player. And if they could get him 100% healthy next year and be a starter for the whole year, that might be worth it. The downside is they recalled Lamet.
Yeah.
And I believe I said in this podcast, I don't ever want to see Lamet again. I'm tired of the Lamet experiment, and I still stand behind that.
Yeah, I mean, oh man. Yeah, I mean, the big question, obviously, from this series, from this week is, what do we do with Taylor Rogers? Because we all know the offense needs help, and we'll get into that in a little bit with the trades. But what do we do now with the ninth inning? Because right now, as it stands, you mentioned it. You said Krismat, Garcia. Who was the other one I mentioned?
Well, there's
Morahone.
Morahone. The thing is with Rogers, I think we should start doing what a lot of other teams do. Don't rely on one single closer.
Right.
We have to start giving these. It might suck, but as of right now, there aren't that many closers on the market. I don't think there's any decent closers in the market. So we have to rely on our bullpen pieces to start taking some of this load. We can't send out Rogers 5 days a week.
No.
We've been doing that since the beginning of the season. We're only 10 games above 500 because of him. Let's remember that, Padres.
Yeah.
We're this good because we've had him closing games for us. But it is clear he needs more breaks. Like if he could go on the quote-unquote COVID IL for a week, it might be the best relief for. I'm not saying they'll fake it to get him some rest, but it might be the best relief for him to take like a couple days off.
Right.
The key is the Padres. We've been balancing this. We need to play perfect defense, perfect pitching to win games. We need more offense.
Yeah.
If we would have scored 2 more runs today, we would have won the game. If we would have scored 2 more runs the day before, we would have won the game. If we would have scored a couple, so we need more offense. We need Taylor Rogers to be out 2 or 3 times a week, opposed to 5 times a week.
Right. We don't win a lot by 5, 6 run, 8 run leads.
No, I can't imagine. When was the last time we won by that many? It's been a while since we've blown out any opponents. I can't think of even when we have blown it. It wasn't like a major 10-point run difference. So it's been a while, and that's the biggest problem right now. The Padres need more consistent bats. Let me rephrase. We need people with gap power.
Yep.
We need some people that hit the gaps. We can't rely on walks, bunts, and singles, and then everyone's out with bases loaded.
Yep.
Unless baseball wants to change the rules where we can put in whoever we want when the base is loaded, because then Manny would be swinging the bat every time the bases are loaded.
Right.
Him or Jorge Alfaro.
Right. Yeah, it's against Arizona. End of June, we were up by 4 against Arizona, won that game. And before that, it was a 10-4 game against Arizona. But besides that, it's not really a lot of...
Yeah.
We had the Cubs series was demonstrably great. But since then, we haven't really been doing those kind of games. And that's what the trade deadline is about. It has to fix the offense.
Yes. Good news is Will Myers should be back this weekend.
Yeah.
So he's been torching up minor leagues pitching. Hopefully he can come and give us some sort of power. Even if this weekend against Minnesota he hits 3 doubles, that would be a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 3 doubles.
Just 3 doubles.
Right.
That's how the amount of players we've left on base because we can't hit a big hit because Manny Machado can't swing every at bat. It like 3 doubles. That's it. And it would change. The Padres all of a sudden will get more runs.
Yeah. The home run he hit today in El Paso was I'm talking about Will Myers, 446 feet. So
That'd still be a double in Detroit. Let's not forget how stupidly big that field was. Luke Voigt hit 2 massive bombs for doubles.
it's wild.
2 doubles that would have been a home run in 29 of the 30 parks, except for Detroit. Detroit, get your stuff together. Yeah. Also, 2 rain delays in this series.
Yeah.
I think, and I understand all teams, if you build a stadium without a roof and you have a rain delay, every hour the rain is delayed, you owe the team a point. The other team.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And I understand the Padres may someday have a rain delay.
Someday.
And we'll have to give some team like the Braves a run or two. That's something I would bear. But because these East Coast and Midwest teams that refuse to build roofs on their flipping stadiums.
Oh yeah.
It upsets me, Joey. It upsets
I
me
know.
when I see my boys play in the rain.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think it is odd, especially if they're newer stadiums. Like, you could have just put a roof on this.
Yeah.
You know, especially at Coors or like Target Field where it snows. They have snow delays. Like, maybe that should have been your sign. Maybe put a roof on this thing.
But who knew it rained in Michigan? I mean, come on. Oh my goodness, it's upsetting. And again, every hour there's a rain delay, you owe the visiting team a point. And if the rain delay lasts 5 hours, you lose.
I like this idea.
The game is forfeit. You lose. The visiting team wins because it's the no roof clause. Yeah. This is ridiculous. West Coast teams don't deserve to play in the rain because you guys forgot about your weather problem.
That's pretty funny.
Anyways, let's talk about the trades.
Will Myers coming back. Tatis is taking batting practice. He's hitting bombs in batting practice. If he's having a good weekend, he's facing live pitching this weekend. And if that goes well, he'll have a rehab assignment next week. Mm-hmm. Potentially coming back for the Dodgers series next weekend, depending on that is still a pretty aggressive timeline, but he has been practicing this whole time. He's been injured. He's been fielding. He's been taking drills. So I think that part of the game is fine. It's just getting the timing down.
Yes, getting his batting practice. I mean, his first official batting practice in Detroit, he hit 6 home runs.
Yeah. Dude, the power's still there.
Power's still there.
So Tatis, Myers coming back, the big deal. Potential power. Myers did not have a great time in 2022 so far.
But he was playing on a bad knee.
Right.
He went and got his knee drained.
Is there any grosser thing to say in the world than that?
Your knee drained? Maybe something to do with your sinuses.
Right.
But that's just about it.
It's just like I need my knee drained, please.
Like, what's in your knee?
So gross. Yeah, he had his knee drained. Thank the Lord. So he's coming back, and then Tatis coming back. But we need more pelt.
We do indeed. And the trade deadline is
6 days away.
6 days away.
I'm getting crazier, James.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Early today,
I believe you were in a meeting today.
Yeah.
And I just got in the meeting. Have the Padres traded anybody yet? Was your text to me, and I was like, no. And
Andrew Benintendi was traded today to the Yankees. So the trade market could be starting to heat up again, which is cool.
Famous. I mean, Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ had an emotional hug goodbye in their dugout today at the end of the ball game because they have a day off tomorrow, and everyone's predicting that Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ will be traded some point in the next 24 hours.
Yeah. And of course, we've talked about it before. Juan Soto is still whatever.
Yeah.
Padres had scouts in LA scouting the Washington Nationals, which everyone was think is pretty funny because no one's surprised who Juan Soto is.
Yeah.
They all know how good he is. But maybe the Padres scouts were scouting someone else. Maybe the deal's much bigger. Maybe it's for Josh Bell and Soto.
Juan Soto, yeah.
Or it's just Josh Bell. Like, it could just be a Josh Bell scouting.
It could be. It could be just a Josh Bell trading. It could be that they were there to ask questions about Strasburg because we're going to absorb his contract or something like that, you know? There's all things there's a bunch of stuff it could have been. But the point is, the trade market should get crazy in the next 6 days. And
we have people from potentially seeing the Giants sell, the Red Sox potentially selling now. We haven't really talked about the Red Sox. Padres quasi interested in Xander Bogaerts, who doesn't quite fit into our infield situation. But if we got someone like Xander Bogaerts, it'd possibly be that Tatis would be in the outfield. It looks like the market for Trey Mancini might be still open, but still, like it seems to be the whole market is slowing down around Soto.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Everyone's trying to bid for Soto, and it looks like the Giants might start selling, and because they're having a terrible year. And the Giants famously don't trade within their own division, so we won't get any of those guys.
No.
But the Red Sox are going to start fire selling because, I mean, as much as Padres fans are upset right now, just imagine being a Red Sox fan.
It'd be rough.
The brothers Red Sox
not having a good time.
They won't even respond to me anymore when I say it's okay. I've been there. They're not even.
Yeah.
They're not get back to me.
Yeah, someone like JD Martinez would be cool. Kind of collide our first DH situation, but another proven bat.
Yes.
Cool. I don't know if we go that. There's been talks about Rafael Devers, which is wild to me. They trade him. He was having an MVP season, but they're not interested in extending him. It looks like. So I definitely see the Padres looking into that as well, because the big discussion that's been happening, and we talked about this last podcast, is still do we just go ham on Soto, and if we don't, what should we expect to get back if we don't get Soto from other teams? And I think like me, and I said I'm cracking a little bit because I'm just like, I'm so worried it's going to be like last trade deadline and we don't really get any impactful players, and we just get like incrementally better, or in some cases last year we got worse with AKA Daniel Hudson, right? Like,
this is true. Of course, who wouldn't want Soto? But if we can get a Xander Bogard,
yeah,
that's not as good as Soto, but it's close.
Right.
If we can get a Xander Bogard, a Wilson Contreras, and Ian Happ,
yeah,
all of a sudden and then Tatis and Myers is back, that's 5 good bats.
Yeah.
And that pushes us forward. And all of a sudden that also sets, that means more runs, less pressure on the pitchers. They don't feel like they have to pitch perfectly every game, and they might start doing better. So as much as I think Juan Soto would be a game changer for whatever team he goes to, and I would still want Juan Soto, Devers is great.
Yeah.
Bogart is great. The Red Sox, I don't know what's happened. There's something in the water over there, because you watch some of those highlights last month of baseball. They're not even playing baseball anymore.
No, it's gotten like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what era of Padres was especially this bad.
I can't remember an era of the Padres that and even last year where it was that epic collapse, the Red Sox collapse this year is worse.
Because the on-field product is so terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about, if you look it up, like famously, is they gave him an inside the park grand slam to Ramel Tapia. The guy, the center fielder, loses it in the lights, and it bounces behind him. But he doesn't run towards it. He just like stands and looks at it. It's the most surreal video. You're like, why aren't you running at it? And you can kind of feel the center fielder's like, it's over. Like it just has this body language of like.
And every time, and today there was a pitcher that blew a simple grounder off the home plate. He blew the throw, and he just sort of had the same like downtrodden. Why am I even a baseball player? And their first baseman made a bonehead play as well, and even he was at the end of the play, was just had the same look of like, what's going on? I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty weird.
Yeah. You know, also, if they're willing to trade an outfielder, I wouldn't mind a Kike Hernandez.
I wouldn't mind a Kike Hernandez either.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how if they lose this weekend, again, terribly, there might be like a
burn it all down and
right. Come on down. Red Sox players for free.
Exactly.
Xander Bogaerts, only 2 minor leaguers. Here you go.
Exactly.
It might be pretty. It might get gnarly.
It might. And the thing is, like, you brought this up before the podcast, but it feels like the entire trade like market is being held up by who gets Soto.
Yeah, because those are the best prospects. The best prospects available in the largest package is going to go towards Juan Soto. That can be delivered. Yes. I think it's just the fact. And because of that, people that want to sell are like, I'm not going to reach out until I know those prospects are available. Because there's a good chance that, like, so take, for example, Ian Happ, Wilson Contreras, right? The deal you make with the Cubs is, here's a hassle plus 3 minor leaguers that are within the top 200, right? But you don't know if Hassel's going to be shipped to Washington, and the Cubs want Hassel, right? So they're not interested in pushing the issue until we're good with it, because they want to know who they can hound to get, so they can get the players that they want, and that's the way you do it. And so because of that, I mean, the Benintendi trade was like all 3 people that are not with the top MLB top 100. They're top 100 of the Yankees prospects, but like 19, 25, and 30 something, which is not terribly high in a systems ranking.
No, but Benintendi's also not.
He's not as good as Soto, obviously,
and he's also not I mean, we thought he would be. He's a decent bat, but he's not a game-changing bat.
Yep.
And he will fit in with the Yankees because he's not an automatic out.
Right. I'm not quite. I don't know how. I mean, so if I take my fan brain out of it, I don't know. I don't know how those next few days are going to go, because I wonder if it's just going to be August 2nd is going to be pure mania. Like, couldn't you see? Because like usually, if you're around trade deadline, like you and I have been around, like there's a slow trickle.
Yes,
a slow trickle throughout this month.
There's usually 1 or 2 last minute trades.
Right. There's been no slow trickle. If anything, it's just been like hold. So I wonder if August 2nd is like, it's like boom, boom, boom. We might see tons of trades in one day.
Maybe. And if the Giants, the rumors about the Giants is true about them opening up their team, that's going to open up a bunch of possibilities for other teams. Like the Hugh pointed out off air that the Braves might get Jock Peterson again.
Right.
Which would be hilarious.
Right.
Also, I don't know. It's very weird. And the thing is, like, Joey's checking Twitter right now.
I am.
As we are speaking.
Yeah.
Because nothing would please us more than to be recording a podcast. And have to do
it's my dream. It would make me feel vindicated in this venture with you, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, thanks.
But It would make it cool if something broke right in the middle of our podcast.
It would indeed, and then it would be our best podcast ever. So, like I said, that's basically where we're at right now. Everyone's in a holding pattern because the Padres need to get better.
And they need better offense.
This team we have right now can make it to the playoffs.
Sure.
It will not get far in the playoffs.
No. It needs to. I think this way. We need to have every inning a real threat for extra base hits.
Yes.
That's not happening.
No.
There's one inning, I feel like, most of the time. If the inning includes Voit and Machado in it, I'm like, okay. We
Occasionally, Jerickson and Cronenworth get a double.
I would love it if one of those guys started turning around. Because right now, like, the singles machine is driving me crazy with some of those guys. I just really want extra base hits, but like I said, it's not happening. So we need it in playoffs. You need to always be threatening, and we just aren't doing that. So we need to get better, like you said, and we just have to wait. Which turning me into the Joker, turning me into a crazy person.
On that note, let's look into the upcoming week of the Padres. We have an off day on Thursday, and starting on Friday is the last long stretch of games the Padres have all year. We have 14 games in a row, including a doubleheader on Thursday with the Colorado Rockies. So the next time we speak will be Thursday, and it'll be after 8 games.
Okay.
3 all in at Petco, 3 against the Twins, 5 against the Rockies. Where do you think we're going to be?
Twins are a good team. I think we're a better team on paper than the Twins. But they're a competitive team. They just are. Brian Buxton's a game changer. I don't know if he's going to be coming back from the injured list from then, but the dude can hit. I mean, you saw him in the All-Star game. Hit anything, anywhere.
Yeah.
Dude's a menace. They have
Carlos Correa's great.
Yeah, they have decent starting pitchers. Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela both can be great too. So it's going to be tough. But I think I think our pitching's really good. We are very good on Fridays because City connects. So we're going to win that game. You and I are going to go to some games this weekend.
I'm going Saturday. You're going Sunday.
Normally how these things work is that you see a cool win and I see a brutal loss.
This is true. And you know what, Joey? I don't want to see a brutal loss, but if we could switch that, I'd be happy for you.
Oh, that's very nice of you. That's a nice thing you ever said.
I know. That's true.
I think I'm feeling pretty good though about this series. I don't know I'll be honest. I don't know quite enough about how good of a year Sonny Gray's having. He's pitching on Saturday to really make a good reference on this. But I feel like we're gonna still do 2-3 in this game series.
The only thing that really scares me about the Minnesota Twins on this is if Emilio Pagan comes out of the bullpen.
Oh, and he's going to destroy us, right?
He's having the worst season ever. He will destroy us.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like 3 straight immaculate innings every game.
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, of course. Of course. Or the inverse. Taylor Rogers blows all 3 games.
Yeah.
Right. Something like that. I feel pretty good about our pitching being good.
Okay. I do too. Our pitching's all
right. So I think that's enough to diffuse this offense. The Mets series reminded me of that. The Mets are a very good team. We won the season series against them. When our pitching was on point, we bodied them. There's no we just won.
Yes, we did.
And I think being at home, we have a rest day, and if we get a fun new member tomorrow, vibes are going to be on all-time high. What if Joe Musgrove signs an extension? I'm saying 2. I'm going to say 2 because it's still we win by razor margin. But if I have the right to say if we trade for someone by Friday, we're sweeping the Twins.
Okay.
This is where it gets weird though. The Colorado Rockies have been a pain in the butt all
really
year. All year long.
Charlie Blackmon, I
don't want ever seeing his face.
Yeah, he could go. He could go to HE double hockey sticks.
What's annoying too about all this is like most of the games we play, Chris Bryant hasn't been a problem. It's like CJ Crone and Charlie Blackmon.
Yes.
Now, CJ Crone could be traded. That'd be cool because it's it's a trade deadline by then. Like the trade deadline will be by game 2.
But the Rockies general manager making a smart trade is hardly ever a thing.
Right. Yeah. If we have someone, I'm going to choose to believe it by this time we have someone new.
Okay.
Vibes are going to be great. I think we win 3 of the 5. We should win all 5. But because the Rockies are so annoying, maybe we're going to lose one game of doubleheader because we always lose a game in doubleheader, and we're going to lose the last game. So I think we're going to go 5-3 over these 8 games.
All right.
But if we have a new person, we're going 6-2. Still losing the Rockies.
Still losing the Rockies. Here's how I put it.
Okay.
I don't care where we get the wins,
Okay.
but if the next podcast we are not 5-3 or higher, I'm going to be an unhappy camper. The Padres have to be 5-3 next week. Next recap. There is no excuses.
Yeah.
The Rockies suck, and the Minnesota Twins are tough. Yeah. We can beat both. We need to be 5-3. That's the end of that top stop. End of discussion. I don't care where the wins come from, who we lose to, who we win to. We need to be 5-3.
Okay. I like that vibe.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that vibe. I think you're absolutely right. And Big Willie's coming back in town. He loves hitting Rockies pitching.
he does.
He's going to hit some tanks at the Western Mountain Supply Building.
I would love to see that.
The Willisons.
I'm sitting.
Maybe this is the 2 weeks he becomes Willie Mays.
I mean, again, for longtime Padre fans know, Will Myers has for a long time has been the only person worth cheering for many years. He was the only person good in our team, but there's always that month and a half stretch where he'd hit like Mickey Mantle, and Willie Mays, and he would play. He would be outstanding. If he could come back off the injured list, being that hot, it would be a game changer.
He's playing teams that he's always had success against the next 2 weeks: the Rockies, Dodgers, and Giants.
Yep.
And then end of August, he plays a 3-game road series in San Francisco. Dude loves hitting there.
He really does.
Maybe this is the month of Will. Comes back with a passion. We haven't mentioned this, but he is primarily playing first base.
In the minors, yes. We're not foreshadowing or saying what's going to happen to our current first baseman who sometimes just forgets how to play baseball. He really should be a Red Sox.
You know what? I think we've matured.
Yes.
Because we didn't even mention the 5 unearned runs that Manaea gave up because Hosmer doesn't know how to field. Older, immature a couple weeks ago.
The younger, more immature version of the brothers.
We would have. That's the whole episode would have been about that.
Yeah.
But we didn't bring it up.
No, we haven't.
We should be. I think we should get something for that.
We are captains of virtue. Oh.
Yeah, Will Myers is much better than that person.
Yes, at first.
Base. And I would love it if he was always our first baseman.
At least to the end of the season.
But we don't know that. But it does seem that was intentional to make him comfortable, whether, less pressure on his knees or whatever. But, maybe he plays more at first base, and that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
And we're going to be, like we did last season, we'll have emergency podcasts for acquisitions that are worthy. If we trade for Jake Marisnick again, I'm not doing an emergency podcast. So
No.
we have internal biases.
This is true.
I'm not. There's certain people that warrant an emergency podcast. Juan Soto warrants it. Ian Happ Contreras warrants it.
Devers or Bogard.
Right, warrants it. Joey Gallo. I think for the fun, it probably warrants it, but it definitely doesn't actually warrant it.
No, it doesn't warrant it.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm hoping that we have a couple, actually.
I do too.
I don't know if we will, but I'm hoping we do. I'm excited about it. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Thanks so much for listening to us. Until next time, go Padres.
And there it is! Ho-ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!